paleo diet. I admit I was nervous and hesitant to start out on this because I knew it would require hard work and sacrifice, but on the other hand, I was so relieved to have a natural and safe treatment option that didn't carry the risks that a lot of these other medications carry. Within 1 week of starting the diet, I didn't have any problems with frequency, and my diarrhea was gone. For the first time since I had been diagnosed, I almost felt like a normal person, or at least as normal as someone can feel that's missing their entire large intestine. Now, don't be misled. The paleo diet has not cured my Crohn's disease, but it has lessened the severity and the symptoms. And maybe one day in the future I will require a permanent ostomy. When that day comes, I will be okay with that. But for now, the paleo diet has restored to me a quality of life that I'd been missing for years. Now, please know, you do not have to be sick to eat a paleo diet. In fact, one of the things I love about Dr. Brasco is he practices what he preaches, and he adheres to the paleo diet. Because he knows, he recognizes that everybody would be better off eating this way. So with that in mind, my husband and I decided that our whole family would go on the paleo diet. We figured it would be best for all of us, especially me being the cook, so I don't have to cook 2 meals. But we especially thought it would be beneficial for our daughter, given that she has the misfortune to inherit my genes and could possibly get a form of IBD herself one day. So we went on the diet with no looking back. We've been doing it for a little over a year now. I'm not going to lie to you. The first month was rough. I was weak, I was shaky, I had to eat constantly or I felt like I was going to pass out. And basically what was happening was my body had to detox from all the junk that I'd been feeding it for so many years. And I will admit that I had several dreams that first month that involved pizza and bread. As anyone can tell you, I was a bread and cheese kind of girl before going on this diet. But eventually, those cravings passed, and now I can even watch somebody eat a bowl of macaroni and cheese without hating them, or even envying them. And actually inside I'm saying, why are you poisoning yourself? As I said, it was difficult in the beginning, but as with most things, once you establish a routine, it becomes commonplace and even easy. A typical paleo day for us usually starts out with breakfast that could be eggs cooked in any variety, sausage, bacon. We make smoothies using fruit and coconut milk, and I even have made a paleo cereal that consists of nuts, raw fruit, dried fruit, seeds, berries, topped with coconut milk. Lunch is usually leftovers from the previous evening's meal, or otherwise you can have a sandwich lettuce wrap. And then dinner, you just have to keep it meat and veggies. We snack on things like fruit and nuts, and in our house, this is an essential. Lara bars. They are minimally processed. There's only a few ingredients in them, all of which are real foods and you can actually pronounce. And the ingredients are paleo friendly. And the best part is, I don't have to make it. So, we keep these on hand to snack, and we also use these for going out. If I know that we're going to be out and we're going to need to grab a snack, this is our friend. Also, it does require planning ahead, but like for instance tonight, I left my house about 3 o'clock. I've been running around and then I came here. I didn't really have time to eat dinner and I can't do fast food. So I pack a little cooler with something in it that I can eat. Chicken salad, coconut milk yogurt, whatever the case may be. But if you plan ahead, then you aren't tempted to slide back in and eat that junk that you've already purged from your system. Now, here's another thought. It wouldn't hurt you to miss a meal. I know that that's completely anti-American, but hopefully one of our future sessions, Dr. Brasco, will talk about the benefits of fasting. Now, if you go out to a restaurant, which you can still do, you just have to keep it simple. You order the meat, but you probably want to stay away from the restaurant sauces and marinades because it's going to have all sorts of ingredients in it that you don't need. Get your veggies, get a salad, but think vinaigrette dressings. Okay, now, I know what you're all going to say because I have heard all of the excuses and the reasons as to why you can't or you won't do the paleo diet. So I thought that I would go ahead and address some of those reasons now. Number 1, it's too expensive. Well, I have found that once you stop spending money on all of the processed junk, the pasta and the cookies and the cereal, it frees up that money so that now you can spend it on the real food. So you really don't have to spend extra money, you just exchange what you're paying for. But I also say, even if it does cost you a little bit of extra money, isn't it worth it? Because I found that being sick is a lot more expensive. And I, for one, would rather pay more money for my food and less for my health care. Number 2, it's too hard. Well, it is hard in the beginning, but once you get going, it's not that bad. But as with most things that are worthwhile, it's just going to require a little extra work. But the benefits far outweigh the work that's required. Number 3, I don't have time to do all that cooking. Well, do you have time to be sick? Do you have time to miss a lot of work? Do you have time to miss out on family function or experience an overall loss of quality of life? You need to make the time because, again, it's worth it. Number 5, oh, I'm not a morning person and can't prepare breakfast every day. Well, you're in luck because there's things that you can do ahead of time. You can hard boil some eggs, you can make some little mini omelet muffins, put them in the fridge and then nuke them. Mix up your smoothie, put it in the fridge, grab that before you go, or you can eat that cereal that I was telling you about. Again, planning, planning, planning. If you plan ahead, you don't have to cook breakfast every day. And then Dr. Brasco addressed this a little bit already, but I've tried special diets before and they didn't help. Well, have you tried the paleo diet? And have you strictly tried it? If you only did it 40%, you're still eating cheese and down in some milk and milkshakes, you don't know if it works for you. You may have tried gluten-free, but in my humble opinion, gluten-free is just another fad processed diet and not likely to help you that much. So I say give it a go. And then lastly, my personal favorite. My doctor says the diet doesn't affect IBD. Well, I would say that it's possible that your doctor is so mired in conventional medicine that he is either unable or unwilling to recognize diet as an effective treatment. Now, we know that IBD is not a one-size-fits-all disease, and everyone responds differently to various treatments. But enough people have responded positively with dietary changes, and specifically the paleo diet, that it should warrant the respect and consideration of all doctors. I don't care that 9 out of 10 doctors say it doesn't help. I am standing in front of you as a patient with a horrible case of Crohn's disease, as you heard, and it has helped me. And there are countless others that have the same testimonies. So, and if you were one of those people that it helps, you won't care what the other 9 doctors say because it works for you. Now, the sad, simple truth is, though, that most people are too lazy to put forth an effort, and they'd rather the ease of just popping a pill. So it's easier for a doctor to simply write a prescription. But I have just told you all the reasons why your excuses should be thrown out the window. Why wouldn't you want to do something that's good for you and your gut? And the best part is, there are no dangerous side effects. The worst thing that could happen to you is that you'll feel better and you'll reach your optimal weight. So I would challenge you guys to just try it. And I mean strictly try it for 30 days. Because you can do anything for 30 days. And if I can do it, anybody can.
I guess it's my turn to talk again. A couple of points that I think that were implicit in Lori's testimonial, and again, I think it's important that we have a patient come up here, because I could spout all day long and blah, 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 but it's nice to hear what a difference this made in somebody's life. I will have to say, I'm going to go out on a limb, that I've almost never seen dietary modification not make some change. Now, we actually have people who are in remission on diet alone. Now, that's not common, but it does happen. I have a number of people who on diet alone have gone into remission with their inflammatory bowel disease. Again, we can discuss this is, again, fodder for the blog and fodder for different lectures, because I have some suspicions why some people will and won't, but suffice it to say there are. But I've rarely have seen someone who have not gotten some improvement in overall health, even if they're still on their medications. I think the important point there is that not only did the paleo diet work for Lori, but she was on the medicines already, and I think that's the information you're going to get from all our other speakers here, that they were on the medication, they were doing everything that their doctor said, and they still were not getting better. So I would hazard to say that this is a fundamental part of the therapy, as important as the medication. And if it's not explored, you're doing yourself a disservice by not exploring it. Another point that was brought up before you guys all got here, we were kind of talking amongst ourselves, is that maybe paleo seems kind of extreme. And it is. It is a pretty extreme diet when we look at what the average American is consuming. But the point I made to the ladies was that sometimes you have to start out here before you can bring the pendulum in here. Now, we have 3 co-founders here, and each of our co-founders have very, very different diets. I would have to say the undercurrent is that there's a reduction in sugars and a reduction in total carbohydrate. But as far as adherence to the strict paleo, it goes the spectrum. But everybody has made dietary changes. So where do you fit on that spectrum? I have no idea. You have to find that out for yourself. And that starts, but I think you need to start somewhere out here before you can bring the pendulum somewhere into the middle. So I think that that's vital. I mean, if you're doing great, I assume that you're probably, that's not why you're here, and that the part of the reason why you're here is you're looking to do better. And I think that dietary intervention is definitely crucial. Now, I mean, the next subject that's on everybody's mind are supplements, and we're going to leave that to our next meeting, because I think supplements play a role. Although perhaps if you go on the internet and wherever, you'll find that I think people try to sell a miracle cure. I will have to say that as far as nutritional therapies, diet is foundational. And they call supplements a supplement for a reason, because it's supplemental to something, pretty much the diet. But I think next time around, that's what we're going to discuss. We're going to maybe revisit some of the finer points of diet, because I'm sure there'll be some questions. And then we're going to address some of the supplement issues. But before we adjourn, we have plenty of time here. What questions do you have? And so this would be a good forum, and all of our leaders are here, so they can help answer any questions from both a doctor's perspective and patient's perspective. And let's try, I mean, we'll entertain whatever, but let's try to focus today on diet, since that was our topic of discussion. I open it up to you folks.
I have a question. So about 1.5 years ago, I started on the specific carbohydrate diet to treat IBD. And first thing I wanted to know was, what is the big distinction, or are there big distinctions between the specific carbohydrate diet and the paleo diet?
The specific carbohydrate diet is a diet that's been around for quite a while. It's featured in a book called Breaking the Vicious Cycle by Elaine Gottschall. And I had the privilege of meeting Elaine before she passed away, but Elaine was in her 90s when she passed, so you know, she had a good long life. She was somewhat of a dictator, so, because if SCD didn't work for you, then you were doing it wrong, or you try never to blame the patient. And not to toot my horn or anything, in the book Restoring Your Digestive Health, which I co-authored, we tried to tweak we tried to tweak SCD and kind of bridge the gap between paleo. Some of the distinctive differences is that in SCD you still allow dairy and fermented dairy. In paleo there is no dairy. And I think that from when you're starting out, because dairy can potentially be so problematic that no matter, even if you're doing SCD, it's probably worth, and SCD stands for Specific Carbohydrate Diet, SCD. Mm-hmm. So if you Google that, people have been on it for years, and so there's a tremendous amount of information. And also, if you go to breakingtheviciouscycle.info, not .com, but .info, you'll get to Elaine's original website.